Ow! Ow! Greetings, friends. It's Josh.
This is Daniel.
This is Matt.
And we're back for another episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast.
We did it. You didn't ask, but we did it anyway.
We got another one coming for you.
Aren't you lucky?
Lucky you. It's so good to see you again. And I hope it's good for you to hear us again.
Watch out for that pothole. Whew, I'm glad I said that.
Hey.
You guys that are driving, be careful.
Keep an eye out on the ice as well.
Can't drive on ice.
If you have a Zamboni, you can. Okay. Well, so let's just go ahead and dive into the episode. Yeah, why don't we do that? We're missing Ryan again because he's Ryan right now. And I don't know. He's just not here. Makes me sad. I don't know. I can't function without Ryan here. He keeps me on track.
Remove him from my top 10 friends on MySpace.
Oh, gosh. That'd be tragic.
He's going to go down to like 11 or 12.
Oof.
You know what, though? At least we'll always have Tom.
Tom will always be my friend.
Yeah.
It's like, can you still get on MySpace? Is
Yeah.
Tom still there?
Well, I say that because it came back and I think it died again.
Yeah, obviously.
Every once in a while I try to do the Wayback Machine to see if I can find my profile. It doesn't exist.
It does
It's
not
gone.
exist.
No. Wayback
man.
failed me.
Failure.
I can use the Wayback Machine and find my 8th grade website that I created. In school, we had to make a website in 8th grade. This
That's-
was the
what?
year 1999, by the way. So
I can't believe
Angel
it
Fire,
indexed it.
GeoCities, all that. You can still find that, but you can't find MySpace.
That's wild.
I love it. It's awesome.
That's a really cool project for an 8th grade. I didn't have to do
Oh, yeah.
anything like that.
yeah. And how
Man.
nerdy I was like showing the teacher how to do commands because she had no idea. I was like,
Oh,
yeah.
man, that's
Huge
not even
nerd back in the day.
fair.
Huge nerd.
Not even fair.
Had like
Without that
icons from
HTML.
Diablo everywhere. Oh yeah, it was
I'm
awesome.
so disappointed
Had like
in my school
words
system
going
right now.
across the screen. Like, how did you do that? I'm like, yeah, I'm cool.
I'm magic.
Hacker. Little 8th grade kid.
Just got to do a little hacking here. Click, 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 click. We're in.
Log into the mainframe and upload a virus.
You can do an awful lot knowing your way around some HTML. I'm not going to share what I did, but
Back
I
then,
impressed
yeah.
Josh a little bit
There
a
you
couple
go.
weeks ago with
There you go.
deleting
Yes.
elements from a page.
Yes. We're in.
You guys ever seen that GoldenEye? I am invincible. You gotta be that guy. No one ever wanted to play with him in GoldenEye though.
Oh man. So speaking of being a child and things that happen, Christmas was a couple months ago, and since I didn't get to share this anecdote on our last episode, I've got to share it now because it kind of annoyed me. I got my son for Christmas a little Hot Wheels thing that has it's just a track, and there's an elevator that spins around and pulls the cars up the elevator, and then it just sends them down the track, and they get back in line for the elevator. Very cool thing. So I get it all put together after we open it, and I look at the thing, and it looks like it's where the battery pack is. It looks like there are like 3 AA's is what it looks like it's lining up to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like it on the track. Here, 3 AA's go right in here. So I'm great. I open it up. It takes C batteries.
What?
Wow, I thought those were like extinct.
I know. Why are we making toys that require C batteries? Like, what are we doing?
I'm so confused.
I
That is such a bizarre choice.
know. Like, I do not understand.
Like even 9 volts before C's. Like, what are you doing?
It doesn't. At some point, right? Like, it has to get to an industry standard where they're just
Yeah.
like, these are no longer viable.
Even
like, no
this
one
year, I'm
needs
surprised
them.
it's not just a rechargeable, right? Like,
Right.
you just plug it into
Plug
a
it
USB
into a
and
thing,
go,
yeah. I was in shock. So like, it was Christmas Day, and it's like, oh well, I guess this isn't gonna work because
Oh no!
I didn't realize that it needed C batteries.
Sorry, little Timmy.
Just drove me nuts. I don't know. Obviously, I think double A's make sense, and I guess there's no way that motor needs the power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't even know, like, from a scientific standpoint, like what the difference is between a C battery, a AA, or a D battery. Like, I don't know.
Actually, I think it's close to the same voltage. Maybe it just holds more, less longer, more amps. So it pulls more. So yeah, I'd have to look at that too because I don't actually know.
I don't know. But I feel like you could get away with finding something smaller that would be more common for people to actually have.
That's why no one uses C batteries anymore, or D batteries for that matter, right?
Right.
So
anyway, that annoyed me.
Come on, Mattel, what are you doing?
I had to share my annoyance and my grievance that I don't understand why you need C batteries. Stupid. So
now you have like a whole junk drawer full of C batteries, right?
Well, it took 2 C batteries, and so we bought a pack of 4. So I've got 2 more, use them again. And I'm never gonna need them. And honestly,
the toy will break before you use them.
Now that I'm thinking about it, this is the second time that this has happened. We had gotten our daughter at one point got a thing for Christmas that was a little ball popper thing that took C batteries, and I don't understand. Someone make it make sense.
No.
I guess you just take them on a cruise. They're C batteries.
I don't know. But
tired dads. Come on. Where's the dad jokes? I'm bringing them out. Yar. Need a couple of C. What's the pirate's favorite battery? C batteries. I just made that up. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you.
That's what love it.
It's not an arg, it's an unfortunately, that's going on the Instagram.
Yeah, no, it ought to. That's a brilliant joke. The castle.
Hey, speaking of that, do you? Tangent.
Let's go.
Our vacation this year, me and my wife love to go on crazy vacations. We don't buy things. We don't have nice things. We go on vacations. We spend our money on trips. We're going to Scotland.
Oh, nice.
So
marvelous.
How amazing my wife is and how we're the same person and soulmates is. She said, what do you want to do in Scotland? She said, well, I think we're going to visit every Monty Python and Holy Grail scene.
Nice.
So she's like, here's this castle. Here's the Killer Rabbit Cave. That's our plan. And it's the 50th anniversary. So for the 50th anniversary of the Holy Grail, we're going to be at...
It's a literal pilgrimage.
It's a pilgrimage to see all the sites from the Holy Grail.
That's awesome.
So now that you bring that up, I will be at the castle of...
The castle...
Here's the Como. Sorry. We're going to get this canceled.
At the back of the throat. Ooh, as in surprise and alarm.
This is how you can tell we had great parents or good friends. That
yes,
let me show you this movie. I was the one that had a great dad who showed me this, and then all my friends that came over to spend the night. Have you seen the Holy Grail? What's this? You're watching the Holy Grail tonight.
Absolutely.
So
I convinced my high school history teacher to let us watch that in a history class. So that's my claim to fame. Nice. It was amazing.
Nice. So research team just came up with this. AA batteries and C batteries are exactly the same voltage. There's no difference other than the size. So literally their decision was, let's just get big old batteries. That's America, right? Let's make it bigger, better. There is no difference.
You just slapped a super side B sticker on the battery?
Yes. And just make them bigger.
Wait a second.
Only difference.
Are you telling me that they very easily could have used AA batteries?
Yes.
And they chose not to out of spite. Is Mattel working with Duracell to sell batteries?
So the C batteries do last slightly longer.
Okay.
So you get more. So they're trying to help you.
No.
By making you buy more expensive batteries that last longer.
Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. If that's the case, then Xbox needs to start putting C batteries in their controllers.
Now you know. The more you know. You guys know now.
That's insane. I hate Mattel so much right now.
So now that you've been educated...
Oh my gosh.
Take to the streets.
That's so annoying.
So, friends, this is a podcast for gamers that don't have time to game.
Learn.
Thank you so much for your time this evening. We have an excellent lineup for you.
We do. We've got some great games to talk about today. And this is a podcast for gamers who don't have time to get... So, I talked about on the last episode my trip on ketamine. I was actually able to talk about the podcast and do the tagline on ketamine, when I was telling them about the podcast. And I these days I constantly forget to do it in the actual podcast. So yes, this is a podcast for gamers who don't have time to game.
Yes.
So
we had no reviews for you. We didn't have time.
we did not have time to game. No.
idea.
And roll credits.
So as I mentioned in the last episode, like I said, I did break my wrist. Playing video games has not been easy. So I have been playing a game that I wanted to beat before we recorded this episode. I was not able to because I broke my wrist, and it took me out of commission for about 2 weeks.
Wild how that works.
That I could not hold a controller in my hand, which was sad.
Very sad.
But I have been playing the new Indiana Jones game.
Ah, nice.
And I've got to say, it's a lot like I was skeptical. I was very, very skeptical. I said when it was announced, I was like, I'm going to play that game. I'm going to be disappointed in that game. And I've got to say, I have not been disappointed.
Done a good job.
So they did a good job, at least as far as the character is concerned, and as far as the honesty and being true to the character of Indiana Jones,
right.
They did a really good job. It has the same spirit as Indiana Jones. It's perfect, almost. I would say almost
Sure,
perfect.
like a quick time event to hide in a fridge from a new. Once they leave that part out, we're good.
They left that one out.
Okay, good.
I would say that so far in the story, it's better than Crystal Skull. So
Man, the bar's on the floor, friends. For that one.
I'd say
pick
it's
that up
better
for
than
you.
I'm not a fan of Temple of Doom either. So I'd say it's better. I'd say it's better than Temple of Doom.
Kalema.
Kalema.
Mistakes
It's
were
got
made,
short
but not
stack in
by
it though.
us.
Come on. No.
I don't like him.
Okay.
I don't like Temple of
Dr.
Doom.
Jones.
Dr. Jones.
I liked him in Loki. Dude was phenomenal. That's the same guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the TV series Loki?
Yeah. At least the first season. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome in the TV show.
Yeah.
Same guy.
There was
He grew
apparently a
up.
whole heartwarming reunion with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I
You
saw
remember
that.
Yeah,
It was
Nice.
so cool at the award show. I loved it.
So the guy who does the voice for Indiana Jones in the game is not Harrison Ford, but you could have fooled me.
Yeah, he's close.
Like he is very good. He does a very good job with the voice acting. Even like certain affects, the way that you would expect Harrison Ford to sound at certain do with certain things, he sounds like Harrison Ford. So like, hats off to that guy. Because I was impressed. As I was playing, I was like, they didn't get Harrison Ford to come in and do this.
I
Like,
wonder if it
there's
was-
no way.
Have you heard Mark Hamill's impression?
No. Oh yeah.
Well, in fairness, the man made a career as a voice actor. So, you
Yeah.
know.
So good. Maybe it was him.
It was not. It's not Mark Hamill, but it is.
Should have been.
It should have been.
been.
That would have been great. But no, so very well done with the voice acting. I'm impressed with that. And like I said, the way that they did the character, they did the character justice as far as I've gone through. It's a little fantastical. I mean, all Indiana Jones have a little fantastical element to it. To me, it seems a little over the top, a little
Yeah.
more so.
That was my judgment against Crystal Skull. Was like it always felt like this could be real. Like there could be magic. There could be this stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not quite ready to lift the veil.
Yeah.
The aliens was like okay, whatever.
Yeah. Well, they
Jumped
did that.
the shark.
Yes.
They did that with Crystal Skull. The most recent movie that they came out with, I don't know if either of you have seen that one, Dial of Destiny.
I haven't.
Not yet.
Yeah.
It kind of does the same. Dial of Destiny is better than Crystal Skull, like by leaps and bounds. It does not make the same mistakes that Crystal Skull did. But it also has this thing where it's like, oh, this is what we're doing.
We not say that, but then the first movie, guy's face melts off from
Right,
the Ark of
right.
the Covenant. So
Yeah, exactly. So there are elements in the game, the Great Circle, that feel a little bit like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, I'll buy it because it's a game, in a way that I wouldn't buy it if it was a movie. But no, I think it's a really good homage to Indiana Jones and the character and the continuation of the story. I think one of the things that is interesting about it as kind of a thought thing. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but a thought experiment. There we go. Is the idea that video games become more of a medium for character things than movies do. Indiana Jones is a great character. Indiana Jones as a movie character can only last so long.
Right.
Indiana Jones as a video game character can go on for eternity.
Right.
So if you can come up with a great character, something that has been done before, like...
I agree with this, and I love the games that have been doing more story-driven. Like, I appreciate that way more than I do, like, learn how to do this combo and pull this off and get points. Like, I don't care about that, but give me a great story. And I think, like, the medium of movies, they know how to do shots just right. They know how to do it, and they haven't quite gotten that translated to video games just yet. They can do amazing things with it by far. I mean, I know we can all share stories of some of the most amazing cinematic masterpieces in games, but I do want to see more of that too. Yeah. I agree.
So I think that's an interesting thing to see how that goes, and maybe we get more Indiana Jones video games, and with that character being the driving force. So all that to say, I love the game as it is. However, as far as the story so far and the character that's in it, however, the game is not flawless. I have run into multiple problems from my perspective of it not the gameplay not functioning the way you would expect it to. Like, there are clearly certain things that you feel like you should be able to climb up on, like by jumping and just climbing up on them like you can everything else, and for whatever reason you can't. It doesn't. The things don't work the same way everywhere.
Right.
For whatever reason, with the way that the game is programmed, and it's probably because they want you to do things a certain way, or because you're not supposed to get up on top of that thing.
Yeah.
But like, for whatever,
like the guy in the escape room is saying, "Don't go over there. You want to look over here." And talk. Yeah.
But like, I'm standing next to something, I'm jumping, I expect him to grab on and pull himself up, and he doesn't do it. And I'm like, why? Like, so it doesn't. And part of that is, I guess, probably there's an expectation from games like Breath of the Wild and Assassin's Creed that if it's there, you can climb it, right? And so they do take, I feel like they do try to take a more realistic approach with the parkour aspects of the game, which is
jump off a 200-foot tower and land in a bale of hay and be like, that was nothing.
Yeah, no, you will die. You will take fall damage for sure.
Shrug it off.
So there are certain things like that. There are also certain just wonky things about the mechanics. But overall, it's not a bad game. I enjoy playing it. I intend on beating it. Knock on wood, that actually happens. We'll see.
Josh beats another game.
Now that I'm reviewing it, I'll never play it again. That's how these things go. Yeah. Josh talks about it on the podcast, and it goes into a corner and dies.
Did what you needed to do.
So, but I'm enjoying playing the game. I want to see how the story plays out. I'm able to mostly play it in front of my kids. Now, one of the things that the game does that is really interesting. So, like I said, I'm able to mostly play it in front of my kids. It starts off. It kind of gives you you've got a couple of levels that kind of play out in a particular way, and you kind of think, oh, okay, I know how this is going to go. I know what the progression will be here for the levels moving on. As soon as you start thinking that, it changes. And you're like, oh, this is different. Like, this is not the same. So that was kind of an interesting way to kind of introduce some different elements into the game as well.
Smart.
To kind of change it up, to kind of get you comfortable with something and then give you something new and different. So yeah, I don't know how far along I am. There's lots of extras to kind of go back, like they do with all of these games now that are massive, or that are big titles. Lots of things for you to go back and try to collect everything. At first, I was going to try to, being the kind of completionist at heart that can never like give up on finding the things. I was trying to go back and find all of the things in all of the previous levels after I beat them. After I broke my wrist, I realized that I should probably stop and just kind of go through and just play through the game and just just beat it. I just need to beat it, rather than trying to find everything. As cool as that is. One of the other detriments that I find in the game, which, depending on how you want to look at it, could be a detriment, could be a positive. They don't really give you a lot of instruction. Like there's not really a tutorial that's like, these are the things that you need that you're looking for. This is how you use your menu. Like it really is like, oh yeah, you're Indiana Jones, figure it out. The fighting system, it's a mostly a punching fighting system. You can get guns, but Indiana Jones rarely uses a gun except when someone has a sword and he pulls them out and shoots it, improv style. But so you do get guns. I feel like they don't want you to use them in the game. I feel like they want you to.
Yeah, it's more of a brawler.
To punch.
Pull out the whip.
Yeah. I've had a really hard time adjusting to the fighting system. I have not gotten the hang of it. I'm not good at it. So there are in each of the different levels that you come through, there are different fighting rings that you can get to like fight. Fight your way up into the ranks of whatever. I don't know what the goal is, other than to get experience and probably money. In each of the different levels, but I have not had a lot of success in those boxing rings. Like I just keep getting my butt handed to me. So yeah, for the most part, I avoid that and just kind of try to avoid fighting as much as I can, at least in that regard. So, but overall, it's a great game. I've enjoyed it. And like I said, you can play it with your kids for the most part. There was the first time I played without my kids, I was like, oh, good thing my kids aren't here now. A bunch of dead people on a frozen ship. So, kind of like it's nothing like, nothing, gory, or it's just more horrific than anything else. Right. So
yeah, it's just thematically intense.
Yes. Right. So, that's the new Indiana Jones game. Great circle. I recommend it. I think it's fun. Probably.
How many dead tired yawns do you give it?
I give it 5 dead tired yawns.
All right.
Is
that out of 5?
Out of 7. 5 out of 7. At random.
5 out of 7 ain't bad.
Yeah, 5 out of 7. Overall, it's a great game. I've been playing it on Game Pass, so I'm only paying the $20 a month for it. So I will probably, if I beat it, it'd probably be a game that I would be. Yeah, I think would be worth picking up and paying the $60 for.
So. Very nice. I will say on PC as well, it requires you to have a really nice PC to run.
Yeah. So
you have to have ray tracing enabled with a nice video card, so that it requires quite a bit.
Yeah. So I just have it on the Xbox, so I don't know what
just a PSA there for you guys that are Xbox Game Pass PC players like myself.
For sure.
You will need the equipment to
get that beefy hardware.
That's it.
All right. Matt, you've got our second review.
Nah, I don't want to.
You don't want to?
No,
okay.
I like games.
Okay.
Well, you guys will actually see on my blog post when it comes out at some point. I've gone through this phase where I'm like, man, I'm getting old, and I'm kind of like, man, video games aren't as fun as they used to be, and it's so sad because I have spent so much time around games. I love video games. I really do think it's more of a lull, more of a man, I've played so many games, I've done so much, I just need a little bit of a break. Then I'm ready to come back strong and play. So, but what I've noticed more than anything is anything that takes a time investment. That's why we do Dead Tired Dads, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't do because I know I'm gonna have to. I want to invest in it. I want to spend time. I want to learn all the things. I want to collect all the things. But I know I'm gonna sit down for 30 minutes and be like, oh man, I've got to go to bed because I got to get ready to work. I got kids. I got to do this, right?
Yep.
And so I find myself playing more of the fun. Sit down, jump in, have a little bit of fun, and you can call it a night, right? So,
absolutely.
The games I've been playing is this is just a plug, not a review, but Diablo 4, the new season, really fun. They've done a great job. I got D4 when it first came out, played through it. It was kind of okay, it's all right. It's not Diablo 2 still. Diablo 3 was okay, but it was all right. and they've made so many improvements in a year's time. It's way better now. Also on Game Pass, by
Nice.
the way. You can get D4 on the Game Pass. But this new season, if you guys don't know, it has seasons. So like every 3 or 4 months, they change it up and add a new affix, a new thing for you to do, a new thing to go after. And so this one's been particularly fun. So I've been doing that because I can hop in 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, get something done, get off. But also, something that came out in December is Marvel Rivals. A lot of fun. I'm not super great at these kind of games. It's like an Overwatch style game. It's like team based FPS, working together with heroes. You've got roles like tank and healer and damage. And but the thing is, if you're a fan of Marvel, like it's really really cool.
I'm terrible at those games, but please go on.
Yeah.
That sounds like I've heard about this. I have not done, because I'm bad at these games. I was not a big fan of, I've never played Overwatch.
Yeah.
Not a Fortnite guy. I talked about playing a game on Game Pass at one point that I can't remember what it was called. But it's like supposed to be a treasure hunting game that sounded really cool. It's similar, and I ended up hating it. So, but Marvel could make this more interesting. So
yeah, so that was my thing. Like I played Overwatch. I never got into it. I'm not good at it. So when I would play, I would just get destroyed. I'm like, this sucks. I'm going on to something else. But if you like those games, I know people that love it. They play it constantly. They think it's the greatest thing, and that's great. But for me, Overwatch was like, I love Blizzard games. I'm going to try it. I never got into it. I got Overwatch 2. I played it. And I was like, I don't get it. It's not for me. But with this Marvel's game, it's very similar. But there's something about the characters that just makes me like, I don't care. I'm just having fun, right? Yes, it's chaotic. There's times when you've got, it's 5-on-5. You've got 10 people on this big area working together to kill each other. But it's people you write. It's the Hulk. It's Captain America. It's Iron Man. Iron Man's awesome in that game, by the way. It's there's something that's fun about. Yes, I'm sucking at what I'm doing, but I'm having fun while I do it. Right?
Nice.
And not many games I feel like can really pull that off. And it leads back to I can get in, I can play 2 or 3 matches and have a great night and get off and not have to worry about it. But you can also spend tons of time. There's all these unlockables. There's all these like daily quests you can do to get more space points to spend those. I always call everything space points if I don't know what it is. Gold coins, bullion, space points. So you collect all the space points to buy new costumes, and it's really, really cool. And the costumes that you can get, if you're a fan of comic books, really cool comics, some really cool costumes. And I was telling Josh, one of my favorite stories, I follow all the different communities with video games, is just like a week ago I saw, so you can play as Bruce Banner, the Hulk. And he has his ultimate is he turns into the Hulk and becomes invincible. He's the tank. He comes in and takes all the damage for a short time. But there's a player out there who's trying to rise to the top ranks of Hulk by only being Bruce Banner and never converting to the Hulk. And people are so mad at him because they're like, you're making us lose, but he's actually doing pretty good. And so
That's funny.
He's defying all odds and making Bruce Banner the real hero and not the Hulk.
That's wild.
What a legend.
And what's cool is they're going to, like with Overwatch, there's a lot of heroes, and they were always big on, hey, new hero being announced in a month, be ready, and they do all these promotions for it. And I feel like Marvel has done a really good job of really quick. Like the game just came out in December, and right away, Fantastic Four was introduced. Like
Nice.
We're already going all in. Here's these new characters. And if they can keep doing those kind of things, I think it'll go well. Again, if you guys haven't played these games, it's team-based. It's, get the most kills, but it's also like King of the Hill type things with a moving platform. You gotta move with it and defend and swaps teams and does things like that.
So it's a shooter. It is a shooter.
It's a shooter. It's first person shooter, but you have each character has their own special abilities.
Okay.
They have combos you can do together. They have health things you can pick up. So it's not like a typical. It's not Halo. It's not Call of Duty.
Right. So it's interesting that it's a shooter, but it's Marvel characters.
Marvel characters.
So I think that's an interesting, an interesting way to do a shooter game.
Yeah, exactly.
We were talking a little bit about how video games can be like for characters. So this is like taking characters that but they're doing something that you're not expecting them to do. Right? Like I would not expect Wolverine to be running around with a machine gun or a shotgun or any kind of.
So he does it. So that's why it's not like it's for. But he's got claws, so he actually goes and he's melee.
Okay.
So he jumps in the middle and uses claws. He's one of my favorite characters. He's the one I first played. It was like I'm already in love with Wolverine in this game.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that Psylocke has powers where she can shoot some beams out of her hands, but she's also more of the
Gotcha.
in person. So it depends on the character and what they can do.
So Reed Richards, I'm not expecting to to be running around with a
right. Yeah,
like that's
He's stretching and punching everybody.
Right.
So I haven't actually played him, so I don't know. I haven't played in the new Fantastic Four.
I'm just trying to think through like Marvel characters using.
They do a great job
using
with it.
Right. So like,
but it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like I'm now the Hulk with a rocket launcher. Oops, sorry. It's more like they do a really good job of he's the Hulk. What powers make sense in this universe, but also tie into a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Without it being it's not like you're the Hulk with a machine gun.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's like you're the Hulk, but you're Hulk smashing, you're punching, you're doing all the things and getting all the the aggro on you. So it's cool how they do it, but again, I suck at it. Like I'm not good at it, but when it's over, I'm like that was fun.
Yeah.
Like I actually enjoyed
Well,
that.
I think that's an important part for a lot of games. I think back to like when I think about games like that are just like I just want to sit down and play something. I always think of the
mindless fun.
Yeah. I always think of the Tony Hawk games, like the original Tony Hawk games.
Absolutely.
Like here, I'm gonna sit down for a 2-minute session, like and obviously that 2-minute session becomes like, wait for me anyway. I end up playing for way too long, and I've talked about this before about how it's nice to have those kinds of games that you can go back to that are easy to just sit down and play. So it's. I think we need more. I think there need to be more of those, and so
there's a lot of those. A lot of times, like independent games, like phone games, things like that. I do that too. I'm addicted, like just a quick fix. Can I get my fix and move on?
I want to. I really hope that we can explore more of the. Like we can try to find as as time goes on. I hope we can find more of those that we can play and review, and because I feel like so many games these days, the goal is to put out the big game, and have the AAA label on it, tell the story, and be done with it.
And there's definitely a place for that. Those are great. Like
absolutely.
Mass Effect, the whole series is one of my absolute favorite games too of all time. But if that came out today, I would never play any of it. I just I don't have time for this.
So but I think back to how the video game market really got started with if you wanted to even go back further, like Pong.
Yeah.
Like
there's no story there.
It's just a it's
quick
literally
fix, jump in, go out.
Two balls, two bars and a ball, and but then if you wanted to get a little bit more modern, you think about Mario Brothers. You play that game, you learn how to
memorize the pattern,
as you play it, you learn it. And you play through it.
No one knows the story.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
Yeah, the goal is to beat the game,
right?
But that's not where the fun is. Not in beating the game.
Yeah, it's
just in playing it.
Yeah,
it's just playing the game, and I think that's important, and I think that so many game developers have lost sight of that for the big ticket, constantly just looking for the big ticket. So. But anyway.
So yeah, Marvel Rivals, perfect if you are like me and just don't have a whole lot of time anymore. Maybe you are kind of burned out of the long adventures and you just need something quick. And even the daily quests that pop up, or I think they're daily, there's probably monthlies. I haven't spent enough time in it really to learn those systems. It's a bit overwhelming at first when you just jump in without looking anything up. If you spend some time on a few websites, you'll learn it pretty quick. But I like that, again, I can play 3 or 4 matches. Within the first 2 or 3 matches, I'd already gotten something for Wolverine that gave me a special costume. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Nice.
So this doesn't take a whole lot of time. You could spend more time if you want the really flashy stuff, or you could spend money and get the really flashy stuff. But the thing is, it's nice too. It's not pay to win. It's not like if you spent tons of money on it, you're better than the other person.
That's
it's
awesome.
just look what I have. I got this cool costume.
No one enjoys that except for the people spending the bucks.
Who have unlimited resources for some reason to waste on video games.
Those are people who are sponsored.
That's true. Try this out. What do you think? So if Marvel Rivals wants to sponsor Dead Tire Dads, we'd love to see it.
We would love for them to hashtag sponsor us.
If you guys are Marvel fans at all, even superhero fans, or even really Overwatch, and you don't know Marvel, you will like the gameplay. It's very similar. But as someone who's played both, I feel like Marvel Rivals was much easier to start and come into if you're not good at those games. But again, if I ever played with, I did okay. I was, I never won. I was never first place, but our team won quite a few times.
Nice.
And so it was fun to play around with.
Well, that might be something, maybe, the way that you talk about it sounds like something I'd enjoy. We'll probably,
you would. I think you'd enjoy it.
I'll probably jump on there. We'll team up sometime, maybe, man.
Yeah, let's go.
We'll do
I got it on Steam, so it's free. It's free to play,
Free to
by the way,
play.
did I mention?
Yeah.
Free to play.
And it's cross-platform,
amazing.
you said, when we
Cross-platform.
were talking about it earlier.
I
so.
read that there's like certain like match types that you can't do crossplay maybe on. But
Gotcha.
the others you can. So.
Sure. So cool. Yeah, definitely something I'd want to check out, I think, once I beat
Crazy,
Indiana Jones.
chaotic.
Wish you could
fun.
hold a controller again.
Yeah, I can kind of hold one now. It's difficult, but I can kind of play right now. But anyway, so yeah, we are going to moving forward this year. We're going to try to keep our review episodes a little bit shorter. So that is that's going to be a wrap, I think, on this one. Unless either of you have anything else for the good of the whole that we need to point out or comment on.
Just as usual, keep up with our social media. Subscribe to our newsletter. Pay attention to those blog posts. We are rolling those out on a weekly basis. I'm sure you've seen by now. And we really appreciate your support.
Yeah, absolutely. Do all the things like follow, subscribe, and now we've got the newsletter that you can subscribe to and get that in your inbox every week with updated blog posts and things like that. So do that, and we will catch you on the next episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast.
See ya.
Bye.